South China Morning Post, 1st of December 2023, India promises to look into U.S. accusations that it planned an activist murder, dismissing Canada's case due to a lack of proof. India has promised to look into all the relevant aspects of the matter in response to a U.S. indictment that claims an Indian government official was responsible for a conspiracy to kill an American Sikh. Analysts pointed out that the response was a stark contrast to the diplomatic dispute that arose in September when Canada asserted that Indian government operatives might have been responsible for the death of a Canadian Sikh. According to them, the strategic collaboration between Washington and New Delhi is based on fighting China in the Indo-Pacific area. Therefore, the dispute is unlikely to hurt their burgeoning friendship. Wilson Center analyst Michael Kugelman calculated that the relationship should escape relatively unscathed due to the quickly developing collaboration combined with strong strategic convergences around the China issue. The accusations were deemed a matter of concern by Indian External Affairs Ministry spokesman Arindam Bagchi in New Delhi on Thursday. He continued that India considers these inputs seriously as they also affect our national security interests, and pertinent departments have already begun investigating them. On Wednesday, the 52-year-old Indian criminal Nikhil Gupta was charged by the U.S. Department of Justice in New York with murder for hire and conspiracy to conduct murder for hire. Prosecutors alleged in the indictment that Gupta was led by an Indian government official, known only as a senior field officer, in a scheme to murder an unidentified U.S. citizen, who has been identified as Gurpatwant Singh Panyan, a Sikh activist who advocates for Punjab's separation from India. They claimed that as part of the scheme, Gupta made a $100,000 offer to a hitman in June who became an undercover U.S. law enforcement agent. Comparably, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said in September that the June shooting death of Canadian Sikh separatist leader Hardeep Singh Nijjar in Vancouver may have been caused by agents of the Indian government. Both sides' diplomats were expelled as a result of the controversy. The Justice Department files connect Nijjar and Panyan's murderous schemes. Reiterating his earlier assertions, Trudeau stated on Thursday that the U.S. case showed that India needs to take this seriously, which we've discussed since the beginning. The obvious answer to the difference in New Delhi's response, according to law expert Frederick Maigret of McGill University in Montreal, is that Trudeau had only vague allegations, whereas U.S. courts have indicted someone based on what seems like strong evidence. When faced with such evidence, it becomes much more challenging to claim that the allegations are absurd, the speaker continued. National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby responded, "India remains a strategic partner, and we're going to continue to work to improve and strengthen that strategic partnership," in response to a question regarding the announcement made by the U.S. Justice Department on Thursday. "We take these allegations in this investigation very seriously," he added. "At the same time, and we're happy to see that the Indians, who have announced their investigation operations, are too. Furthermore, we have made it plain that we want those accountable for these alleged crimes to be held appropriately." The way that the US and Canada made their accusations was very different, and that has likely driven New Delhi's different responses, according to Kugelman of the Wilson Center. He stated, "It is not surprising that its response to Washington would be markedly less angry and defiant. Ottawa made the accusation openly and publicly, while Washington took up the matter urgently but privately." Lawmakers in the U.S. expressed concern over the accusations. Democratic representative from Pennsylvania and co-chair of the American Sikh Congressional Caucus, Representative Mary Gay Scanlon, declared that political violence has no place in our country. She went on, "I'm proud to stand against transnational repression with our Sikh community." Analysts noted that Washington's courtship of New Delhi would not be affected, not even by the possibility of an assassination attempt on U.S. soil that was ordered from abroad. Richard Rosso from the Center for Strategic and International Studies claims that the New York scheme was discovered well in advance of some significant U.S.-Indian interactions. Thus, it is prickly but not so much to cause a deviation from the path. Will American public interest be elevated enough to pressure the administration to slow down engagement? He said was the crucial question. According to RAND Corporation's Derek Grossman, because of the Biden administration's Indo-Pacific strategy to counter China, D.C. needs New Delhi far more than the other way around. Such flexibility wasn't unlimited, and more bad behavior could chip away at recent gains, he continued. Meghalaya, a state in northeastern India, is the site of ongoing joint military drills between the United States and India. Along with Japan and Australia, India is a member of the U.S.-led Quadrilateral Security Dialogue, which the U.S. claims is intended to maintain peace and stability in the Indo-Pacific region. The Quad is a small clique that Beijing has disregarded as bent on provoking confrontation. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has reportedly invited U.S. President Joe Biden to participate in the nation's Republic Day parade on January 26 as the chief guest. The following day, in New Delhi, there may also be a summit of the Quad leaders. Indian pundits attributed the Biden administration's targeting of the country to them. Republicans have complained about the U.S. Justice Department being weaponized against political opponents. Brahma Jalani, a former advisor to India's National Security Council, alleged that the department was being used against a friendly India. Furthermore, the indictment was deemed comical by Zohra Ardoulat Singh of the Institute of Chinese Studies in New Delhi. On the social media site X, formerly known as Twitter, he stated, "Such a bizarre scenario could only occur if the US had co-opted some Indians. This poor Indian official CC1 might even be a patsy, to malign India."